Hello and welcome to the Rare Air Show, an alternative news network by South Dakotans for South Dakotans. And just met this fellow here along the road. His name is Rich. Yeah, welcome Rich. And Rich had a little tough luck with his pickup truck, broke down. So out in the middle of nowhere, west of Leola. So just it's not too cold today, but it's a little bit chilly for a long walk. So anyway, how are you today, Rich?
I'm good.
And just found out that you moved from New Jersey.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Cool. So a few months back.
Yeah, November.
Cool. And yeah, just interested in sort of any of your reasons for moving out here and what your first impressions are of South Dakota.
South Dakota is a beautiful place. It's a lot more reasonable to live. It's more geared towards the people than the big city living in New Jersey, where everything is expensive. You can't afford anything. You have to literally bring home at least almost $3,000 a month in order to be able to afford to live out there. So it's a big change out here, where you can get away with making like about $1,000 a month to be able to live out here.
Awesome. And what's been your first kind of impression of South Dakota, and what do you say you're most grateful for about being here so far?
I just love the nice open area, the reasonable living, the fact that there's very, very lax on gun control and not all the restrictions of back east. It's actually a land that kind of still believes somewhat in the rights of the people here.
Very much. That's what we're all about here on the Rare Air Show, is promoting individual liberty. That's the title of the show, Rare Air. We still breathe that rare air of liberty here in South Dakota. What are some concerns you have? Maybe they're about our state, or maybe just about our country these days in general.
The fact that everything is starting to come out this way like it was back east, that's the problem.
Yeah. So you're trying to come here because of the values that South Dakotans hold,
mm-hmm.
and you share that concern that you don't want the.
Yeah, you don't want to be involved in an environment where you're losing everything in order to live.
Yeah, and a lot of that is people don't realize they give up a lot of their freedoms for what they think is security. But what happens is if you give up your freedoms for security, then you end up with having neither. Is that
Exactly.
Would you agree?
Yep. The more you move out and overpopulate, you're becoming more and more of a puppet to the government.
Cool.
And that's not the way that America was meant to be. Where I live back east, you go down the road, you see homeless people all over, but we're worried about every other country.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's a big thing for sure. It would be, policing the world and spending a lot of money in foreign affairs when we got a lot to work on here on our own soil.
We're giving immigrants all free benefits and everything, yet you got people on Social Security. They're making less than $1,200 a month. So why should we be giving free college, free everything else, when the people here are suffering on their and we're paying the taxes that we're sending out to all these people?
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. What would you say is there any kind of a disconnect as far as with legislators or with our elected officials? Just with this show is to give the average everyday, you and me, a voice to hopefully present some ideas to. Politicians
are totally corrupt. Okay, they did a 5,000-page bill. It's for the new COVID stimulus. And on top of that, less than 1/3 of the money from that bill went to the actual American people. Most of it went overseas. They're paying for transgender research overseas.
That's messed up.
We don't need to be doing that,
Yeah, that's...
You're born a gender, you live a gender. If you choose to change your gender, we don't need to research it. Why you did it is your own reason. I
completely agree with that. And what would you say... There seems to be kind of a disconnect, because I think a lot of people share our views, these same beliefs about these matters, but there's sort of a disconnect of how can we affect the policy or the changes that need to happen.
Changes that need to happen is the government needs to step up to realize that they were voted in by the people, for people here. They're not They're not. They're their own entity. They're not a business.
Right.
Personally, Trump was one of the best politicians we've had because he ran the country as a business. He didn't run it as his own playground.
Yeah. It's not an emotional. It's not an emotional. Well, the people or the. Yeah. I think a lot of times we let emotions get too involved in politics because it's really. Politics. The government is really there to protect our liberties. That's their main job.
That was their main job.
Yeah.
Their main job now is seeing which one can get richer off of what they can suck off of the public.
Yeah. So do you have any practical recommendations that I mean, do we need to be?
Well, we need term limits. Politicians shouldn't be profiting, and you know what? They should get the same benefits that they're forcing upon the Americans. If we have to pay for our benefits, they should pay for theirs. If we lose a job, then when they're done their job, they should have to get their own benefits as well.
Yeah.
Why should we cater to any of their needs, when they haven't done anything for us?
Yeah, I agree. And what about ways that, do people how can people get more involved in politics and become more aware of these issues so that we can start having people...
People need to get together. They need to step up and put their own voice out there. They can't be a puppet to the government. They need to have their own voice, their own expression. Everybody needs to get together. That's how it happened in the American Revolution, and unfortunately, that's the way this country is heading again because they don't care about their own people. I
agree, man. And that's really what we're here for. I'm glad we got to meet here, just to happen to see you along the road there. And I'm proud of you, man, because you did something hard to move halfway across the country. To move to a place where we do still champion liberty and ideals of smaller government, and so I sure hope we can work this fight together.
I'm sure we will.
And we'll like I said, we'll just try to keep getting people together on the same page so that we can tell these globalists, these people that think that government is the answer, that we can tell them no, not here in South Dakota.
They want gun control. All right, gun control means having people that are responsible owning their guns. People that are using them for crimes, and one of them legally bought their guns.
Right. Gun control is not the answer for gun violence and gun crimes. That's not, for sure. And I think that's another thing we all very much agree here in South Dakota. The per capita gun ownership is very high here in the state, and we're very proud of Second Amendment rights here. So
in New Jersey, you wouldn't believe what you have to go through just in order to get a gun permit.
Yeah,
it's literally, it'll cost you over about $300 to get your gun permit for.
Wow, just to have any kind of a gun.
Yeah. Well, no, that's just to get a rifle or a long gun.
Right.
Then you have to get a separate one in order to get a pistol.
Yeah. No, well, Rich.
Now they're talking about increasing the taxes on it to, I think they said almost 30% tax on it.
Wild. Yeah. No, there's no. I'm afraid that we're just kind of getting started with a lot of the craziness they're going to try to shove down our throats, and that's why I just want to make sure that we have a voice to resist this.
Nobody actually understands either that Pelosi and them put a clause in there when Biden starts getting too insane, they can remove him because they put it in as when Trump had COVID, they said if he was incompetent, they were going to be able to remove him from government.
Wow.
Well, that stands for any president.
Yeah, we don't realize the kind of just twists that they're thrown in with these just random bills that we don't really have any say over.
We don't have a say, and unfortunately what they did is they're screwing the American people over to, be puppets to them, and if you don't want to be a puppet to them, they find a way to make your life a living hell.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to let that happen here in South Dakota, so I'm glad we have a fighter that joined us, and yeah, Rich, we'll catch you down the road, and thanks for sharing your voice with us here.
I hope a lot more people actually watch this channel and actually learn that they're, the values of America are not what they are now. They're what it was back.
Yeah.
When we had a whole revolution that, fought for the rights. We fought against taxes. Now everywhere you go, there's taxes. You pay 3 different taxes basically on your income. You got You got an income tax. You got taxes for spending it. Hell, you even got death taxes in most places.
Yep.
Inheritance taxes.
Yeah, and people should, our founders, they shed blood over taxes.
Exactly.
And we're just letting people walk all over us.
Now well, let's raise the tax rate. New Jersey, you drive down the turnpikes, the parkways, you pay up to, I think the highest toll on New Jersey Turnpike is $23 to use the turnpike. If you go from the bridge through New York to New Jersey, it's now at $20 to go over the bridge each way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's insane.
Toll roads, the original purpose of the tolls was to pay off the cost of developing the road. After they developed the road, the tolls were supposed to go away. Instead, they went up and up.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen here in South Dakota, but
Now, if they bring toll roads out here, I'm leaving.
well, it's kind of the last frontier here, man. I don't know where you can go in the country that's better than here in South Dakota.
Thinking Alaska next.
All right. We can go all join you and do some bear hunting up there. So
that's definitely it.
Well, thanks for your time, Rich.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone for tuning in to the Rare Air Show. And we'll catch you later.